Today we'll discuss a lab program, that is design and analysis of algorithms lab program, that is on merge sort. So this is the 5th lab program according to your syllabus. Sort a given set of n integer elements using merge sort method and compute its time complexity. Run the program for varied values of n greater than 5000 and record the time taken to sort. Plot a graph of the time taken versus n on graph sheet. Time taken versus n it is, okay? Time taken versus n on graph sheet. The elements can be read from a file or can be generated using the random number generator. Demonstrate using Java how the divide and conquer method works along with its time complexity analysis, worst case, average case, and best case. So worst case, average case, and best case we have already discussed while discussing the merge sort algorithm. So today we discuss how the program works, and here they have given the elements can be read from a file or can be generated using the random number generator. We are using random number generator for taking the numbers because we have to take the values of n greater than 5000. So first line of the program, import java.util.star. So java.util.star, it's a package. Okay, it is like your header file in your C program. Okay, in this we call it as package. In Java we call it as package. It will be having utility libraries, class and all. So for our program we are using two classes from this. One is scanner. Okay, one is scanner. Scanner is used to read the input. Scanner is used to read the input from the keyboard, and random number generator. These two classes we are going to use. If we are using only one or two classes, we can write import java.util.scanner, then import java.util.random, for example. Okay, if we know the class name, we can directly use it instead of asterisk symbol. Okay, import java.util.star. It will include all the classes inside the util.package. Okay, import means we are importing, we are including that in a program. Then public class merge sort, I'm giving a class name as merge sort. So remember in Java, while executing the lab program, whatever the name we are giving for the class must be same for the file name also. File name and the class name must be same. File name and the class name must be same. If we have multiple classes in our program, then the class in which you have main function, the class in which you have main function or main method will be taken as the file name. Okay, so here I have only one class for my program, that is public class merge sort. Inside this only I have included all the methods or all the functions. Then static int a is equal to new int of 20,000 I'm taking. Okay, 20,000, it's a static memory allocation. Dynamic memory allocation we are doing here. 20,000 memories we are allocating. Static, I'm considering the word static because I don't want to create any object for the class. Without creating the object for the class, if you want to use the methods or variables inside the class, then we can declare it as static. Remember, to access the variable a, integer array a, I need not to use the object of the class merge sort. Okay, object of the class merge sort. What I can do, I can directly use this array. I need not to use the object dot a. I need not to use like that. Okay, so to avoid using objects for the class, I'm using it as static. Static int a, then square brackets. This is the convention, this is the format used by Java program to create the array. Okay, this is the format used by Java program to create the array. So int a, then square bracket, which is equal to new. New is the keyword which creates the memory dynamically, which allocates the memory dynamically. And int we are specifying because we have to allocate the memory for integer variables, integer values. Okay. And I'm allocating 20,000 memory. Okay. Static int c. This is also another array which is equal to new int of 20,000 again. Then static int j. Then static scanner s is equal to new scanner of system.in. S is capital letter for the scanner. You can notice here it's a class name. Scanner, it's a class name which is present in java.util.package. Scanner is a class name which is present in java.util.package. So static scanner, again, I don't want to create any object for using the variable. That's why I have declared all the variables and all the methods or function as static only. Okay, without creating the object, we can access that. Okay, static scanner, I'm giving the name as yes. So I'm creating object of class scanner. Scanner, yes. Okay, yes is it's an object of class scanner, which is equal to new scanner of system.in. Okay, I'm using it for reading the input. So system.in, again, system, yes is capital letter. So system, it's a class name. Okay, remember the convention used by Java is all the class names begin with capital letters. All the class name begins with capital letter and all the built-in methods or built-in functions begin with small letter. Okay, all the functions begin with small letter. If you have multiple words in a name, then first name will be small letter, first word will be small, begins with small letter, and second word beginning will be capital letter. Okay, while discussing other functions, you'll come to know about it. Remember, all the class name begins with capital letter. Okay, new scanner, and it is case sensitive. Java is case sensitive. You have to type like this only. Okay, scanner, S is capital letter, system S is capital letter, dot in, because we are using this for reading the input from the keyboard. Static void merge int L, int M, and int H. Okay, so here this is a method or function. Usually in Java, functions are called as methods. Okay, functions are called as methods. Static void merge. Static because without creating object of the class merge sort, I'm going to call this function merge. Void, it will not return anything. Okay, merge, we are passing int L, left index, middle index, and last index, high. Okay, L, M, and H, three variable we are passing. So int I, J, and K. Wait for a minute. So we have static void merge. We are passing three variables: int left index, middle index, M is middle index, and H is last index. Okay, or right index. So int I, J, K, these are the three variables we are using for looping. Then I is equal to L. If it is 0, then it will be 0. If it is any other value, then it will be other value. Okay, whatever stored in L will be assigned to I, that is initial index or left index. J is equal to M plus 1, and K is also initial index, that is L. Okay, J is equal to M plus 1, K is equal to L. Then while I is less than or equal to M and J is less than or equal to H. So while discussing merge sort, we have seen that in the algorithm, we have divided the array into two arrays, right? That is array A. Array A is divided into array B and C, right? Then B and C will be merged together to get the array A at the end, right? Instead of using three arrays, I'm using only two arrays here. Okay, for the lab program, we have used only two arrays. One is A, another one is C. Okay, one is A, another one is C. So here we are using middle index also. We are using middle index also instead of using two indices. Okay, instead of using only two indices, we are using middle index also, so that we can divide the array one from L to M, another one from M plus 1 to H. Okay, so I will be pointing to the left array and J will be pointing to the right array. I will be pointing to the left array, J will be pointing to the right array. You can notice the value of I here, I less than or equal to M. That means up to M, up to middle value, I will vary. And J will vary up to last value, H value. Okay, and you can see the initial value of J is equal to M plus 1. That is middle plus 1. Middle plus 1 to high. In the same array, I is pointing up to middle value, J is pointing from middle plus 1 to high value. Okay, so I less than or equal to M and J less than or equal to H if A of I is less than or equal to A of J. This is the merge function we are discussing. Okay, this is the merge function. That is, after dividing the array, we are performing the merge function. Okay, that is merge sort we have not discussed yet. In the next slide, we'll discuss that. So here, what we are doing, we are performing the merge operation. If A of I is less than A of J, that is, one array is left array, another array is right array. A of I is pointing to left array, A of J is pointing to the right array first element. Okay, initially. So A of I less than or equal to A of J, then include A of I is smaller, right? So in C, include A of I. C of K plus plus is equal to A of I plus plus. Okay, else C of K plus plus is equal to A of J plus plus. According to the algorithm, we were incrementing the K value, I value later, right? So here within the subscript itself, subscript of the array itself, I am incrementing the value. Okay, C of K plus plus is equal to A of I plus plus if A of I is smaller. If A of J is smaller, C of K plus plus is equal to A of J plus plus. Okay. Then while I is less than M, I is less than M, less than or equal to M means we have, if we have left any values from left array, include that into the C. C of K plus plus is equal to A of I plus plus. If any values left in the right array, then while J is less than or equal to H, then include that C of K plus plus into, that is A of J plus plus into C of K plus plus. So C of K plus plus is equal to A of J plus plus. For I is equal to L to H, that is I is equal to L, I less than or equal to H and I plus plus, A of I is equal to C of I. So sorted elements which is stored in C, we are storing it back to A. Okay, so here we are using one extra memory, that is C. C is the extra memory that we are using for merge sort. Then close the function merge. Okay, then let us discuss merge sort. Static void merge sort. We are passing only two indices here, int low and int high, that is starting index and the last index. Okay, then int m, if low is less than high, then only divide the array. Okay, if low is less than high, then only divide the array. So m is equal to low plus high divided by 2. Find the mid element. Okay, mid element. Then merge sort of low to mid. So call merge sort again on this. We know that we have to divide the array until we get the single element in each array, right? So merge sort low comma m, that is first half, from beginning to up to mid element. From beginning up to mid element, you have to call merge sort. Again call merge sort on mid plus 1 element to high element. Okay, that is up to the end. Include all this, that is first half of the array, that is left array, and second half of the array, that is right array. So on both you call merge sort until the merge sort divides the elements into single element. Then call merge low comma m comma high. Okay, this is merge sort function. And then public static void main. This is the starting point for your program. This is the starting point for your Java program. Public, because it has to be called from outside your class. Okay, if you want to call any method outside the class, then you have to declare it as public. I think you have not studied this yet because you are learning Java now. So we have 3 access specifiers in Java. That is named access specifier, I can say. Okay, 3 access specifiers: public, protected, and private. Okay, public, protected, and private. If you declare it as public, you can access it outside the class also. Okay, if you declare it as private, only the class members can access these methods or variables if it is private. And protected, it will come when we discuss about inheritance. You will come to know about it. And another access specifier is also there, that is called as default access specifier. Okay, all this you will come to know. Just remember for now, that is, when we declare a method or a variable public, we can access it outside the class also. Okay, since Java virtual machine is responsible for executing your program, before creating object of the class, this function must be called. Okay, before creating the object of the class, because for creating object of the class also we need some starting point. Okay, that is your main method. Main method is the starting point of your Java console programs. Okay, so without creating object, this has to be called. That's why it is public. And static, because without creating object, we have to call this. Without creating object, we have to call this function, because before creating any object, this will be called. That's why it is static. And it will not return anything. That's why it is void. And function name is main. Okay, then string args, this bracket you can put it in the beginning or you can put it after args also. It's one and the same. Okay, so it's a format used in Java if you want to create multiple arrays. Okay, if you want to create multiple arrays, you can use this format. If you are creating only single array, you can use args, then square bracket. Okay, if you are giving string the brackets, then args, you can create multiple arrays with the same type, that is string. Remember, string, it's a class name. Okay, string, it's a class name in Java. It is not like the set of characters which we use in C++ or in C. Okay, string, it's a class name in Java. String args, this is the command line argument. If you pass any command line arguments, that will be stored in this args. Okay, I hope you understood. Public, because we want to access this outside the class. The Java virtual machine is responsible for executing this function. The Java virtual machine has to call this function. That's why it is public. Okay, and static, because without creating object of the class or before creating object of the class, this method is called by the Java virtual machine. That's why it is static. Void, it will not return anything. It will return void. It will return nothing. This main function will return nothing. That's why return type is void. Main is the function name or method name. String args, string is a class name. Args, it's an array of arguments, command line arguments. If we are passing any, okay, that will be stored in this args. Okay, then int I, n, random t is equal to new random. You can notice here we are using 2 variables, I and n. Then random, R is capital letter. You can notice I told you in java.util.package we are using 2 classes. One is scanner, another one is random. This is another class. Okay, so random, it's a built-in class. Random t is equal to new random. So t is object of type class random. T is object of type class random. If you want to access any method inside the random class, we have to use the object t. Okay, you can give any name. For the object, you can give any name. I have given it as t. Okay, random t is equal to new random. Then system.out.println. You can notice here Until now, you have executed C program. So printf, scanf you have used. So here for the console input and output, we have to use the system class. System.in means it is for input. System.out means it is for output. Okay. System.out.println. Out is again object of type class system. System.out.println. It will be pointing to this object out. It will be pointing to output stream. System.in, object in will be pointing to input stream. Okay. Object out will be pointing to output stream, and it is having a function called println. Println means print line. Okay. Print line. Enter the size of the array. So we have to enter the size of the array. So that will be stored in n. To read the value to n, we have to use a scanner object s here. Okay, s dot next int. If you want to read the floating point number, s dot next float. If you want to read line, it will be next line. Okay, if it gets disconnected, join again. Okay, s dot next int. It will read one integer number from keyboard. Okay, that will be stored in n. That is number of elements. Okay, or size of the array. Then system.out.println, the array elements are. We are taking random number generator. That's why I have created the variable t here. For I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So n numbers we are going to store here. We are creating it using random number generator. A of I is equal to t dot next int of 10,000. Okay, 10,000, it's a seed for your random number generator. You can notice here t dot next int. This next int is present in random class. Next int is a method or function which is present in random class. For this, we are passing 10,000. 10,000 means within 10,000 number we have to generate here. That is maximum value that get generated is 9999. Okay, 0 to 9999. From these 10,000 values only, it will generate the values repeatedly. Okay, I hope you are getting. That is the seed. Okay, within 10,000 numbers will be generated. I hope you are getting. Within 10,000 numbers will be generated. Okay, number will not be, for example, 10,001. Okay, you won't get any number which is 10,001. Within 10,000 numbers will be generated. Not even 10,000 will be generated. Okay, it will generate the maximum value that get generated is 9999. Okay, that is the seed we are passing. If you want to change the seed, you can change. If you give 100, 0 to 99 values will be generated. Okay, the maximum number that gets generated will be 99 if you give 100. Okay, A of I is equal to t dot next int. Then system.out.print A of I plus /t. So here you can notice println means it will include a new line. Println will include a new line. If I give just print, it will not include a new line. Okay, it will not include a new line after displaying the value. Okay, so A of I plus /t. A of I will be displayed, then plus /t we have. Okay, instead of using comma, okay, in C programming we use comma, right, for the as the parameter separator for the function. So here we use plus. Okay, it is called append. Plus called append. A of I will be displayed, with that this tab space will be appended. Okay, system.out.print A of I plus /t. Then close this. So it will generate the random number generator. Then system.out.println, it will include a new line for displaying. Okay, then we have to check the timings, right? How much time it will take, we have to check that. So for that, long start time is equal to system.current time in millis. Current time millis. Okay, don't give space in between while typing this. Okay, current time millis, it's a function which is present in system class. It will read the current system time. Okay, it will read the current system time. For example, if current system time is 3:20, okay, it will read that. After executing the program, again you check what is the time. Okay, for example, if it is 3:22, then this is start time and end time. Once you get that, end time minus start time, it will give you that is time taken by the program. Okay, so call merge sort 0, n minus 1. Then note down the time again, long end time, system dot current time in millis. Remember that it will read the current system time in milliseconds. Current system time in milliseconds. Then system dot out dot println elements in sorted order. So we have to check whether it is getting sorted or not, right? So display that for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, system dot out dot print a of I plus tab t / t, that is tab space. It will display the element present in a of I, then it will display one tab space. Okay, then system dot out dot println, just it will include a new line. Then system dot out dot println, it took, you can notice here, it took end time minus start time milliseconds. Okay, for example, when you started, if the time was 3:20 and after ending the program, if the time noted was 3:22, 3:22 minus 3:20, it is 2 minutes. It will take 2 minutes time. So like that, it will display the time in milliseconds. Okay, then close the main method and close the class. This is your lab program. Okay, I'll disconnect, join again. I will show you how to execute the program. Okay. Is this screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
I have opened Google Chrome. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can notice here, you can execute the lab program online. I will store the program in this tutorialpoints.com. Okay. So this is in my ID. I will share you the link also for this. What you have to do is, this is, you can notice the icons here. We have execute, we have share, source file and std in. Okay, execute means it will execute the program. Share means you can share this program. Source code means whatever the source file, it is visible. I hope this is visible for all of you. Okay, this is the program. This is the program just now we have discussed. Okay, the same program I have loaded here. Okay, this is standard input. Standard input you have to give before executing. That is one problem with this. We have to give before executing itself. We have to give. For example, what is the input that we have discussed? We have to provide the number of elements for the array, right? For example, if I give it as 5, okay, if I give it as 5 and I'll execute this. Okay, I'll execute this. On the right hand side, you can notice that. Okay, so enter the size of the array. Actually, I have to type here, but this is not console input. We are executing it online, right? We are executing it online. This is not console input. So we have to provide the input where they have specified the space for that. So in std in, they have specified space for giving the input. So I have given that. I have given 5, right? So for 5 elements got generated here. 7,408, 9,026, 425, 3,678, 8,736. So these are the 5 numbers which got generated. And you can notice it is sorted also. 425, 3,678, 7,408 and 8,736 and 9,026. And you can notice one more thing also. I have given the seed for random number generator as 10,000. I told you number will not exceed 10,000. Within 10,000 numbers will be generated. Okay, within 10,000 numbers will be generated. Now, for now, you just execute, give the input in stdin. Okay, I'll share this link. You give the input in stdin. Okay, I hope you are getting. You give the input in stdin and then try to execute this. We cannot execute more than 6,000 values here. It will give error because since we are executing it online, once the college begins in the lab, we can execute first two programs, that is your merge sort and the quick sort. Okay, for now, you just check whether it is getting executed or not. How it works, you can see. Okay, how the program works, you can see. Okay, if I give 5,000, it works. Okay, I'll give 5,000 and execute. You can notice. So you can notice here, it is in sorted order. So 2, 3, 3, 8, 10, you can notice here. Okay, so 5,000 values got generated. Okay, you can notice here 5,000 values got generated and you can see the maximum value on the right side, that is 9999. Okay, it will not exceed the value 10,000 because that is the seed we have given. Okay, and here it is sorted also. To sort, it has taken 4 milliseconds. Okay, it has taken 4 milliseconds. What we have to do is, we have to check for this large number. Okay, for 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 and 50,000. We have to give and we have to check how much time it will take for each value of n. For each value of n, we have to note down how much time it will take and we have to draw the graph. Okay, we have to draw the graph of time taken versus number of elements n. Okay, we'll discuss that. I'll show you how to draw the graph also. For now, you just execute this program. Okay, for now, you just execute this program and check how it works. Okay, you just give value 5 or 10 and check whether it is sorting or not. Okay, I'll share this link in Google Classroom. You can execute this. Fine. I hope you understood the concept. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.